Hi guys, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be discussing Bitcoin and Ethereum and the price action that's been happening over the last couple of days and possibly what could happen within the next week. So be sure to support the channel, subscribe, drop a comment, and let me know what you think is going to happen in the upcoming weeks or actually months, depending on Bitcoin and Ethereum's trajectory. All right, so taking a look, Bitcoin it has been trading at about 65,000 now. It's had its ups and its downs, as you can see. So 69,000 was back on the 11th of June, which was just last week, but it did start to take a plummet. Before that, it was kind of consolidating a little bit, right? So from the high of 71,322, it dropped back down to around 66, kind of bounced back up to 67, and going back and forth up until about the 9th of June, the 10th of June. So here is when we started to see this kind of action going down. Now, the cause of that, there's many speculations to why, but really going through the golden rule, what I like to call of the major price actions that's going up, the market structure that's happening, it always returns to that. That's just my thing, and that's how I trade. But I always see it doing that. So, I mean, I've given examples before of how that happens, or showing that point, right? So it doesn't take a whole lot to kind of we'll analyze where to trade in it when you kind of follow that rule. So that's what I do. It keeps me safe. I'm a conservative trader, but that's what's happening. But either way, right now we are looking very bearish, which is a little surprising to be honest. But at the same time, it's not. All right. So given the green line that I have here, the horizontal line, that's kind of where we're wanting to get back to. As you can see, back on the 7th of April. Then we have it on the around 19th and 20th of May and the 7th of June. We've had a lot of, well, not, I can't say a lot, but we've had some knocks on that door to kind of break through the resistance. So we did break through that resistance line back on the 12th of March. We came up, and then that was our big signal right here when it was getting rejected. And then following candle, that was how we're going to go. And then, of course, we ultimately fell to around 61,000, which kind of scared everybody a little bit. But it did kind of recover back from that. So my point being, since we're on a downtrend, I could say it's kind of confirmed at this moment. To be honest, I know some traders they love to go by major movements, but we have a couple of medium. Right here, some movements is showing this going down. So I would say that. Plus, also if you look at the price action today, and by the way, I'm on the daily time frame, but we have about 14 hours left of the daily time frame is going on. But as you can see here, we have a lot of fighting going up. It did reach a high today of around 65,000, dropped down to 64,000, and now we're back here around 65. So this kind of looks like where it's going to go. I would say the next action of moment would be around 63 if it continues in this trajectory, or even possibly down where I have my red line around 60,000. It could potentially go back down there. Now, the reason why here you see the purple line, this is where we need to kind of break above to kind of be at a comfort zone, at least to give us some positive moments to go back to around 72,000. That's how I'm seeing it. Now, of course, in the next couple of days, if we can break that trend line, you can see that the bulls will start kind of reacting, at least coming up before getting that resistance at 67. And if we could break past that, then we have a good chance around 69 or so. And then once we get there, I think once we can get to that point, I believe that we're going to be able to kind of reach again to that around 71,000 mark, 72,000. I really believe that we can, or we'll break past it at least one more time if we can maintain that. So we have a lot of hurdles to get into that way, but only the time will tell, as usual, right? So, but if we continue down, I believe 64,000 will kind of hit a stop a little bit. There's two things that will really happen. So, one, we will either bounce back off that and start to recover, or we'll start kind of going further down because of the stop losses will be triggered and we'll start to fall a little bit more. But if you're shorting Bitcoin, that's great news for you. But if you're wanting it to go up, of course, then bad news, right? And I believe that's what's happening as well, is that we hit some stop losses and it's driving it down as well. So a lot of fears kind of coming in and pushing it furthermore. But I believe if we can start to recover here, at least to consolidate for a week or two, and then start pushing back up to 67, where we'll see the resistance fighting back from the stop losses and people just panic selling, then I think we'll be okay. But that's what's going on for the daily. If we take a look for the week, right, you can kind of see the weeks have not been too great at all. But you can kind of see that it's losing power on the weekly, right? So it's losing some power. So that kind of gives me a bullish outlook for the next week or two. I believe it's not finished yet. This week, I believe we'll also close in the red, but also the following week possibly as well. But at that point, I think they'll start losing some of that downslide momentum and start pushing back up. So this is where I'm kind of coming from on the behavior of Bitcoin here and what I think is going to be a little bit bullish later on. But it would take a little bit of fighting back and forth. As far as Ethereum goes, Ethereum has been disappointing a little bit as well. We had a huge price rally back on the 20th of May. Right, we were around 3 grand, and then it jumped up to 3,600, which is really, really great. But you can kind of see right here is where we kind of reached it. But this kind of gives a problem, and I'm going to explain that. So right here in this area, and I'll just kind of leave you a little area here, right? So this area right here was a moment, and then this being the candle that kind of signified everything that was happening. But this area was kind of letting us know that we were kind of reaching that peak at that resistance level here as well. And I'll put a line as well for you guys, just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So right here, as you can see, this area, and I'll make that green. So right here, you can see the resistance and knocking on that door, and we of course returned to that and was denied. And now, okay, so what I'm explaining at this point, moving forward, right? Let me just move some of this out of the way. Okay, so we have this price action moving up right here, right? This wonderful market structure here. This is the problem that I'm seeing with Ethereum. As we're going down, as it's kind of looking like we're going to be in a little bit of a bear market, it's not so steep. It's kind of moving around, and that gives me to the next two options that's going to happen, right? So either we will kind of consolidate and return back to the 3,400 mark, also seeing some resistance that we'd have to fight to the next big hurdle, or we'll continue to go down, right? So, and if we do, it'll be 3,100, I believe, that will fall back down to, or 3 grand. And that's being because of that market structure. Like I said, we're always returning to the market structure. So this is where I'm seeing. Now, with that being said, the most previous, not this one, but the next market structure would be up here, 3,800. So that is possible, but we're going to have this resistance coming in right here. And as you can see, I have this box kind of signifying that next. So 36, 37, this area is where we're going to kind of see that. So if we do fall back down, I do believe it will be right around 3 grand, 3,100. If it goes not so well, and I'm going to put this as an orange for you guys. So here, I think we could stop to around 32, but I mean, in this area of a window, this is where we're going to see that most stop. So kind of a problem, but I don't believe it's going to go down the same. I think as we're talking about Bitcoin, I think it will also return back up as well. And so if that happens, I think Ethereum will do the same as well, because Ethereum's always, and you guys already know, is always kind of following along the line. So we have that thing happening where we just are not completely sure, right? But who is in crypto, right? So, but right now, what I do see is a little bit downward trend. Right now, we are trading at 35, 35, 34. And to see it actually kind of retracing back up and then that's a good sign for me. I'm bullish on that. And also the MACD, right? So here, as we're starting to kind of get closer, that's a good sign, right? So I believe once we can cross that, we'll be doing just fine and we'll be on the right path, right? So that's what we're looking at for the daily, and also kind of to take a look at the week. The same thing for the weekly. The only thing here that separates this with Bitcoin is it's actually growing, right? So this is growing down, and that has me a little nervous, right? So the fact that it's going down does not give me any kind of hope. It actually is starting to grow and it continues to go down. And if it does do that, then it's a problem. The only thing that I think will happen here is it will stop and kind of go back up or consolidate some more, just like Bitcoin. But we'll take a look, and I will check back in with you guys in the next couple of days, and that way we'll be able to give a better prognosis of what to expect with your trades, right? All right. So taking a look at the market as a whole, um, yesterday, if you guys paid attention, yesterday, the day before, it was not so hot. But today is much, much better. So as of right now on the daily, Ethereum is up by 2.8%, where you have Bitcoin just down by 0.7%, which is okay. It's not too bad, right? It's expected. Solana is also up by 0.7% yesterday. I believe it was down by a couple of percent. Link is up by 4.1. Pepe is doing pretty good at 7.5% in the plus. Matic is also doing quite well at 3.1 as well. Near is also up. OKB is down by 2.5 points. Cardano is up by 2.6%. So doing much, much better at 39 cents right now, I believe. Yeah, 39 cents. So not too shabby, right? Much better than what I was expecting. But over and all, the market is looking much, much better. The weekly, you can kind of see Bitcoin fell by 3.3%, right? A lot of coins actually fell, and Pepe is kind of making up for the week at minus 12%. SHIB down by 16.6. Cardano is down by 8.4 as well. So there's a few of them that are not so great, right? So even AVAX down by 15.4% for the weekly, which is not comfortable for me, but that's what it is, right? DOT is also down by 6.6%. Monthlies took a big hit as well. Brett is up by 264%, which is fantastic. We have a few other ones like Ethereum. Ethereum is up by 15.1% for the month, which did really, really good. So not too horribly bad. Pendle, 19.2%. Jasmy, Pepe is up by 26%. Uniswap is 33.7%. So some of these aren't so bad, right? But over and all, when we're talking about some of the other coins, they did take a pretty big hit, right? So XMR too is also up. But in general, we can say that we can expect something very good. But overall, if you take a look over the year so far, everything's fantastic. Solana jumped by 781%, which is super. Floki 706. Boink amazingly jumped up 6,409% for the year, which is fantastic. Cass 490%, Ruin 391, Near jumped up 306 as well. Ron as well. So H bar 77.6% did really, really fantastic. So let's hope that we can continue this growth, right? So all right, guys, drop a comment, let me know what you thought of the video, and I will see you guys again next time.